copying and pasting is a tricky thing to do really well. So if I gave you a sentence to write, Stephen, and I said, copy it 10 times on a Word document, you'll do it perfectly. If I told you to copy it 1,000 times, you're going to make a few mistakes. Good thing that we have spell check to fix it, to catch it and fix it. But if I ask you to copy a single sentence 40 trillion times, you're going to make so many mistakes that your spell check isn't even going to be able to catch all of it. Okay. And that's what's happening in our body every single day as we are replicating ourselves. We're going to make mistakes. And whenever there's a mistake that's being made that isn't caught and fixed, that's a mutation. And so we have mutations that are forming in our body just as an outcome of being alive and doing our thing. And we're not sick from those mutations. But every mutation is the beginning of a microscopic cancer. Take a guess of how many mistakes in DNA of copying and pasting your own body are made every 24 hours. Take a guess. This has been every day, every 24 hours, there are 10,000 mistakes that are made in your body that your body doesn't catch, that propagate in the document of our body as it goes on. 10,000. Each of those is a microscopic cancer. A microscopic cancer is just that. It's microscopic. It's too small to be seen with the naked eye, but it's abnormal, and that thing could turn into a big tumor that could eventually kill you. So why don't we die from cancer all the time? Now, this is actually something that I see as a physician. I have a patient diagnosed with cancer. They always ask me, Dr. Lee, why me? Why did I get breast cancer, colon cancer, pancreatic cancer, brain tumor? A very, very natural question. Researcher, I have a more interesting question. Given the number of mutations that occur in our body every single day, why don't we get cancer more often? Why don't we all get cancer as kids? Cancer can happen in children, but not as often as we have mutations. And it turns out this was the great unlock for me in terms of health. The reason that we don't become more sick from all kinds of diseases, including cancer, is because our body is hardwired with its own health defense systems, so that we've got these swashbuckling defenses that are firing on all cylinders all day long. From the moment we're born until our very last breath, these systems that are inside our body defend our health, including the microscopic cancers, spots them, takes them out, kind of like a police cruiser patrolling a quiet neighborhood, sees a drug dealer on the corner, pops them in the back of the police vehicle and takes them away, cleaning up the neighborhood. That's how our body naturally cleans up these microscopic cancers. And so when you talk about cancer as a scary disease, you're thinking about the person whose body has failed to detect and eliminate the microscopic cancers, and it's become large enough to actually become a threat. Now, here's a question for you. So we tell women to actually do a self breast exam when they're taking a shower, look for lumps or bumps. And, if you find one, certainly go to your doctor immediately for an exam. The smallest cancer that you could feel with a trained person can feel with their hands in the breast is 1 centimeter in diameter. A 1 centimeter breast cancer already has 1 billion cancer cells that have already multiplied. That microscopic cancer multiplied 1 billion times. That's the smallest one you can feel. Now, immune system's not taking them out, all right? So you need a better immune system if you want a shot at this, and not just chemo or hormonal therapy. And that's where some of these incredible advances are taking place. But there's another one. In order to feed 1 billion cancer cells, you need blood vessels to feed them. So the cancers, as they get bigger, they hijack our own circulation to feed themselves. Okay. It's kind of like terrorists kicking in the cockpit door to take over the controls of the plane. They want to actually get your blood vessels to feed themselves. Now, normally the body knows how to control those blood vessels. It's called angiogenesis, blood vessels, genesis, how the body grows and controls them. That's my area of research. So naturally, our body knows how to prevent blood vessels from feeding cancers, and yet knows how to direct blood vessels to feed healthy tissues. So guess what? A 1 centimeter tumor with 1 billion cancer cells is fed by 100 million blood vessels coursing into the tumor to feed them. And we've studied this in the laboratory. The moment that a single blood vessel touches a tumor, tiny microscopic tumor, it will grow 16,000 times in size in just 2 weeks. But now let me kind of give you where the breakthroughs are coming through, right? So with this kind of knowledge, what can we do with cancers? Not just breast cancers, but in general. Number one, we know that if you boost your immune system with foods, with exercise, diet, lifestyle, you're going to actually make your immune defenses a lot stronger to patrol your body to wipe out those microscopic cancers. That's why healthy diet and lifestyle lowers the risk of cancer. That's why eating the right foods that boost your immunity can substantially lower your risk of cancer as well. We also know that you can eat foods that support, prompt up, fortify your body's natural ability to control blood vessels. Keep those blood vessels where they're supposed to be and get rid of those blood vessels where you don't want them to be, which is kicking in the cockpit to take over your circulation to feed cancers. So if you eat foods that's why eating the right foods that boost your immunity can substantially lower your risk of cancer as well. We also know that you can eat foods that support, prompt up, fortify your body's natural ability to control blood vessels. Keep those blood vessels where they're supposed to be and get rid of those blood vessels where you don't want them to be, which is kicking in the cockpit to take over your circulation to feed cancers. So if you eat foods that are anti-androgenic foods, like out on Stable, you've got coffee and tea. Both of those contain natural substances that cut off the blood supply and starve cancers. That's a good thing. So that's why we know what we do with our diet can actually help to lower the risk of cancer as well. And I would say eating meat, eating burgers, even eating ultra-processed foods once in a while is not going to harm you if your health defenses are naturally strong. But if you make it a habit, a regular habit of eating this at the expense of eating healthier foods, more plant-based foods, less processed foods, okay, you are actually going to tip your odds where the diseases are more likely to get you. What that means is that overeating fast foods like burgers will actually contribute to taking your health defenses down. Shield excess sodium, too much salt, which can be present in a lot of restaurant foods. People eat out a lot, go to restaurants all the time. You ever go to the back of a kitchen of a restaurant to see how they're seasoning their food? Patrons love salty food. It makes food taste really great. Our brains respond very well to salty food. That high sodium levels actually speeds up, accelerates our cellular aging. So we actually age faster, but it also is a huge wear and tear on our health defenses, specifically our circulation. Our blood vessels, our angiogenesis system is taken down by excess salt in your body. And so sugar, high blood sugar, added sugar is a problem. You get it from fruit, not a problem, okay? No one's going to be eating a crazy amount of fruit. This is why extremes aren't good. Diversity, switch it out. Keep it interesting for yourself. This is what our human nature wants anyway. It's how we're hardwired. You'll actually be fine. So salt, sugar, those are two offenders, okay? Alcohol is another one that actually can take down your health defenses over time. People say, well, what about red wine? Isn't red wine healthy? What I would say is that actually the fermented products or the bioactives that come out of red grapes, from the skin of red grapes that's found in red wine, there can be some healthful properties of the resveratrol and other polyphenols that come out of that are in wine, but it's never the alcohol. Yeah. It's not the alcohol in the beer, the wine, the whiskey. Nope. None of that is. The alcohol is a universal toxin. Toxic to your brain, toxic to your liver, toxic to your heart. Can't get away from that. Your body will recover. Shields up. It can take a ding. It's like a drink is sort of like a driving behind a truck, and it flings a little pebble right into your windshield. You might get a little spider in the windshield. Okay, don't worry. It'll repair itself. You'll fix yourself. You'll bounce back. It's not going to break your windshield. But if you keep on drinking, you're actually going to smash your windshield. And that's why alcoholism is so devastating to the health. But, a small amount of alcohol. So alcohol itself is a toxin. So besides the foods you eat, other things that can compromise your health defenses. And by the way, there are 5 health defenses. We talked about blood vessels. We talked about immunity, but there's 3 other ones that are core to functioning in the healthiest way possible. If you want longevity, you need all 5 of your health defenses and more to be working in your favor. But stress, what does stress do? Lowers your immune system, shields down. All right. Those microscopic cancers, whoa. That's why stressful people are more vulnerable to developing diseases like cancer. All right. Stress also causes your blood pressure to go up and causes neurotransmitters, hormones to be released from your brain and your kidneys, your adrenal glands that actually wear down your circulation. Now your angiogenesis system is also not functioning as well to protect yourself and keep good blood flow going where it needs to go. Now your circulation is actually down. So again, stress also can actually damage the DNA. We talked about naturally copying and pasting and having errors. Add some stress to it. Now it's kind of like you're trying to copy that sentence I was telling you perfectly. Now I'm going to come in and just smash your fingers down every now and then. And let's see if you actually make a mistake. You will. All right. Stress will actually do that. It's devastating to have so much stress continuously. Listen, by the way, I want to be really clear to anybody listening or watching this. A little stress is actually good for you. Like just being coddled all day long and living in a happy bubble. That's not good for our health either. We kind of get lackadaisical. We let our guard down. Little stress. I mean, anybody who's hardworking, successful knows that, it's not the no pain, no gain. It's that the grit that goes along with it, which gives a little stress, keeps us sharp, which is a good thing. You want to be on. So a little stress is good, but when that stress is unabated, it literally sinks your health defenses. It is just taking those shields down.